So there's a lot of ways to actually make money selling on Amazon. This course focuses primarily on private label, but there's also a number of other ways that you could potentially, if you want to, actually sell on Amazon or participate in the sales on Amazon and actually make money. One of those is called arbitrage. And arbitrage is where you actually find something in one marketplace and you sell it in another marketplace for a higher price. And that other higher price marketplace is Amazon. Everybody always thinks that Amazon has the lowest prices, but that's not always necessarily true. Especially around Christmas time, there's a lot of toys that are super popular that people really want for their kid for Christmas, but they can't get it at their local Walmart or their local toy store. And so they'll go to Amazon to see if they can get it. A lot of times you can actually buy something. Maybe you live in some remote county in the US, and you can actually get it at your local Walmart, and then buy that product at your local Walmart and then sell it on Amazon. And you can actually make a margin there, and that's called arbitrage. There's two types of arbitrage. There's retail arbitrage and there's online arbitrage. Retail arbitrage is where you actually go into stores, and there's some people that make a living about this. I don't know if you recall during the pandemic, there was a lot of big news about a guy that was buying hand sanitizer, a fellow in Kentucky, I believe it was. And right before the pandemic really kicked in March, I think it was in February, he was going to all the dollar stores around his area. He rented like a big U-Haul truck and was going to all these different dollar stores, buying up these hand sanitizers for like $1 or $2. And then because hand sanitizer became so popular on Amazon, it was running out. The Purells and Germexes and all those guys were running out of stock. So he listed it on Amazon. He didn't change the brand name. It's just the same brand name he bought it at Dollar General. And he put it on Amazon, and he put it at a higher price. So the price, if he bought it for $1, he might have sold it on Amazon for $3 or $4. And then he made the difference in the profit. Amazon takes some fees. We'll talk about that in another module. But they take a roughly 30% or so. It depends on the product, but around 30% on average of the fees to ship it and fulfill, and pack it and send it out, and then their commission. And so he might have made $1 or $2 on each one of those, and he was able to buy them up, send them into Amazon, and make a difference in the price because people wanted it on Amazon and they couldn't get it, but he could get it in his local store. So there's a lot of people that do that, and that's called retail arbitrage. And it doesn't have to just be during a pandemic time or at Christmas. There's other people that do it with closeouts. You can go into your one of these big box closeout stores that actually has closeouts from other retailers, and you can sometimes buy things there cheaply and then resell them on Amazon. Even Goodwill to this day, a lot of this stuff, when you donate to Goodwill, the first thing they do is they check to see if they can sell that on eBay or Amazon at a higher price than they can sell it in their store. That's retail arbitrage. Online arbitrage is where you do basically the same thing, but you don't leave your computer. Instead of driving around all over to stores and pricing everything, there's tools when you drive around the stores, little scanners that you can buy, or apps you can use on your phone that will give you the ideas of what you should and shouldn't buy. Even the Amazon app has some of that built in. Online arbitrage is very similar to that, but instead you're going to websites. So you're going to bestbuy.com, or you're going to all these different websites and seeing if you can find something cheaper on one of those websites that's selling for a higher price on Amazon. These arbitrage is a good way if you don't have a lot of money to start this business. You can start pretty quickly and inexpensively and grow it. So if you've only got a few $100 right now, and you might want to give arbitrage a try just to get a taste of how to sell on Amazon. It'll give you an idea of what it's like to ship stuff into FBA, what it's like to sell things, how the process works. And you can take $200 and maybe you can flip that to $300, and then take $300 and maybe flip that to $500, then $500 to flip that up. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of grinding, and so that's why I don't recommend it long term. But it's a way that you could get going and maybe generate a little extra cash to really start your FBA business, which this course covers. So another way that you can actually utilize the Amazon system and the traffic and the massive amount of people they have is what's called KDP, or Kindle Direct Publishing, or merch by Amazon. You may have heard of some of these as well. Merch is ideal for art. So whether you have an idea for t-shirts, for a cap, for mugs, there's a whole variety of products that Amazon can direct transfer or print onto. So what a lot of people do is they actually come up with unique ideas. It could be for Father's Day, Mother's Day, it could be around a political election, it could be a funny saying, whatever it may be, and they actually design or get an artist to actually design a design. You upload it into Amazon, and you only make money when it sells. So there's no physical upfront product cost. You don't have to buy 1,000 of something and have them sit there on the shelf and hope to God that you sell them and cross your fingers. No, you can just do the design, upload the design, and then Amazon will take care of everything else. They'll take care of if it's a small shirt or an extra large shirt. They'll take care of if it's a mug or a hat. And as people order it, they will actually give you a commission off of that order. And the more that they order, the more that you make. Some people do incredibly well with merch. And there's some people that can make thousands of dollars a month or even tens of thousands of dollars a month. It's pretty competitive, so you got to be kind of on Johnny on the spot and really good, because there is no barrier to entry other than good artwork and good design. So there's a lot of people that compete there, but it can be a great way to get started and make a little bit of money too. And then KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing. And what Amazon, you can do it digitally or you can do it actually in print. So if you got an idea for a book and you don't have a publisher, Amazon will actually print the book, the physical book for you, and sell it to customers. You could become a bestseller that way. You know, what was it, 50 Shades of Grey or something like that, I believe, is the one that actually, that's how it got started and became this huge momentum and this huge phenomenon into movies and everything else. Or Kindle Direct Publishing is where you can participate in where people download your book through the Kindle platform. And some people use that for real books. Some people use that as a marketing tool to actually give themselves credibility or their consulting business or something like that. So there's lots of opportunities there as well, and you get a cut of each of those sales. Another one is wholesale. Wholesale is where you actually, you contact Amazon and you say, hey, I've got this particular product. And this is more used by big sellers, big brands like Adidas and Nike and the Apples of the world. They don't want to mess around with doing all the stuff on Amazon. They rather just let Amazon do it. So what they do is they wholesale directly to Amazon. And this is the traditional way that Walmart or your local grocery store buys most of their stuff, is wholesale. Sometimes it's on consignment, which means Amazon only pays if it sells. Other times Amazon agrees to pay whether it sells or not. I don't really recommend that way for most people because it's difficult. Other people will do wholesale where they actually buy name brand stuffs and just resell it on Amazon. So it might be Colgate toothpaste, or it might be some sort of shampoo, or it might be something that's an everyday already known commodity, and then they buy it as a wholesale just as if they were a store, and then they just turn around and ship it into Amazon and sell it as somebody on the listing. There's a whole, you probably have seen business models around that. There's Facebook ads and people say, hey, you can make money, we'll show you how to sell wholesale on Amazon by buying name brand items. I don't like that method because you're usually one of many sellers. Unless you can get the exclusive on a particular item and be the only person that sells that item wholesale as a rep for the company, it can be a little bit difficult to make much money. And the margins are typically lower, usually about 10% or less, and you don't have as much control. The brand can yank it at any time. It's easy for someone else to come on and sell at the same time. So you might have 10 or 15 different sellers, sometimes more, on the same listing on Amazon. They're all sharing in that. It's called buy box rotation. They're sharing in the sales. And so I'm not a big fan of that one. It's also harder to sell. And I'm a big believer that most of the money that you make selling on Amazon is you're going to make when you sell the business, not as you're selling. And wholesale businesses are a little bit harder to sell because there's no IP, there's no trademarks, there's no really true assets there other than maybe an agreement with a supplier. So that's wholesale. Another one is drop shipping. Some people will list something on Amazon, and drop shipping means you never take possession of the product. It means you're just basically an agent. So you list it on Amazon, and when it sells, a notice or an email goes out via software to some other company, and they actually ship it under your name. So they'll either ship it in a plain box, or they'll put an invoice in there that maybe has your company name on it. It looks like you're shipping it, but you're not actually the one shipping it. You may have seen some stuff on Facebook where people are doing this using a site called Alibaba, where they're running Facebook ads for something, and they don't actually ship it. It's shipped from some company in China or somebody else, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get there. You never physically take possession of the goods, and that way you don't have to spend a lot of money in inventory. But there's a lot of risks and problems with that one as well. PayPal and some of the credit card merchant processors will shut you off if you have one little misstep on that, and you can have all your money locked up. Customers don't want to wait a long time to get stuff. They're accustomed to getting things really quick. So if it takes a long time, you're going to have issues with chargebacks and complaints. And it's just, to me, it's not the best business model to do. But for certain items, it makes sense. Maybe for big things, refrigerators or large pieces of furniture or something like that, it can actually make sense to do drop shipping. Other people do what's called a superstore, where they basically just create a site on Amazon. They sell everything under the sun. Versus others brand down, they niche down, and they decide, I'm going to be a pet product company, or I'm going to be a health and beauty company. And I recommend you actually niche down and try to create a brand that's very specialized in one niche. There's about 30 some odd different true top level niches on Amazon. And I recommend you choose one of those, like pets or health and beauty or lawn and garden or automotive or whichever one it may be, rather than trying to be something for everybody. The only time you want to try to be something for everybody is if you're really going after an avatar. And so you might become, rather than just a pet company, you might say, I'm going to create a brand for runners. And everything I'm going to do is going to be around the lifestyle of running. And if you're around the lifestyle of running, you actually might have a pet product, because maybe you run or bicycle with your dog. So you need some sort of pet product that's aimed to that. Maybe you have some sort of clothing product that's aimed to that because you need something to control the sweat. Maybe you have some sort of other product that's around running, water bottles or something that would normally be in the home and household category, but you have it there. So that's the time when you want things in different categories, really, versus just spreading yourself too thin. It's going to make it easier for you to sell your company, make it easier for you to focus, make it easier for you to get a customer that's likely to buy multiple things from you because it's all in the same niche. Another type of way people make money selling on Amazon is what's called affiliate marketing. And this is where they actually will post websites, and if you click the link, they get a small piece of the sale, usually between 1% and 5% of the sale coming to Amazon. So you may see, if you ever Google and you say, what's the best cameras of 2021? Or what's the top lawnmower or something like that, the list of most of these sites, and the website may say like bestlawnmowers.com. So it looks official, but if you look closely on the links of all these sites, most of them are affiliate links. They're really not the best ones. They may be, but it's not like a Consumer Reports that's actually analyzed and used these and tested them and put them through all their paces and actually said these are the 10 best. No, most of these are BS. They're actually just affiliate links for people to make money. And so a lot of times you can actually make money doing that, or as a seller, you can sometimes contact these type of sites and say, hey, look, you're making a 3% commission on Amazon. If you put my product in your list of 10 best products, I'll double your commission. You send me the reports at the end of the month, and Amazon pays you 3%, I'll give you another 3%. And sometimes these websites get massive amounts of traffic from Google searches, and you can make a lot of money that way, either as the affiliate or as a beneficiary of these affiliates. So that's affiliate marketing. When you set up an account on Amazon, you're going to choose basically one of two ways to sell. I mean, wholesale is one. We're not going to talk about that one. But one of the two ways is called FBM or FBA. FBM means fulfilled by merchant. FBA means fulfilled by Amazon. And so if it's FBA, that's when you're going to see the little Prime badge. It's eligible for Prime, eligible for next day or 2-day shipping from Amazon. FBM typically is not. Now, there are some exceptions to that. Amazon does have a program called Seller Fulfilled Prime, which allows independent sellers to actually have the Prime badge, which will make a difference in your sales, and actually ship it. But that's not for this course. That's for more advanced, higher level sellers. But so FBA will give you that Prime badge. It gives you that trust. People know it's going to be shipped on time. They know if they got a problem, Amazon's going to take care of them. That's what you really want. But in today's world, you really need to have both. In the past, we always told everybody, just be FBA, and you don't need to worry about FBM. It's too costly, too expensive, too much hassle. But Amazon has established limits on how much you can send in, and this is constantly changing. So at the time you're watching this, it could be different than what it is right now, but Amazon is trying to control how much stuff is coming into their warehouse and just sitting around. And they have some labor issues, they have some storage issues because they've grown so fast. So it's important to focus primarily on FBA, but you need to have an FBM side also set up to your business. And we'll talk about that in detail in later modules, but that basically means that you're going to be shipping most of your stuff into Amazon, letting them store it, warehouse it, and ship it out. But as a backup plan, you're going to have what's called an FBM, where you're going to set up a 3PL, which stands for third-party logistics. So it's going to be a company that stores your extra inventory, and they will ship it for you. Some people do this themselves out of their house, but other people don't want to mess with it, or they live internationally and it's not possible. So you'll have a company that will take care of some of this for you. And that way, if you run out of stock on Amazon, they just kind of take over, and you continue selling. You don't have a gap in when you're selling. And we'll go into a lot more detail about that in a later module. But the only time you really want to be FBM off the gate is if you're selling really big stuff. Say you're selling farm equipment, or you're selling big refrigerators or big couches or something like that. If that's something you're interested in selling on Amazon, then you might want to do it yourself, because it's probably going to be cheaper for you to store those things and ship them yourself than to have to ship them into Amazon, pay to ship them into Amazon, have Amazon store them, and then pay Amazon again to ship them out to the customers. That can get really expensive. There's like a double whammy there on your cost. So those big kinds of things like that, and sometimes hazardous materials. So if you're selling any kind of things that are flammable or hazardous, pesticides or something like that, you may have to do it FBM as well. But otherwise, you always want to strive to get as much as possible FBA. The last thing that you need to know about when you're signing up for Amazon to sell on Amazon is there's two types of seller accounts. So you can have what's called a professional account, which is about $40 per month, or you can have an individual account, which doesn't have the $40 per month fee, but it has a per unit fee. And it's roughly around $1 per item that you sell. Amazon will charge you an extra commission on that. So I recommend you actually set up a professional account. When you first sign up, you could sign up for an individual account, but you're going to probably want to change that and upgrade. It's easy to upgrade later to a professional account, because that's going to give you a lot of additional advantages and stuff selling on Amazon. When you sign up for an account on Amazon, we'll talk about that in another module, especially if you're international, what it takes to sign up for an account and what the process is and what you need. But those are just some of the general ways to sell on Amazon. So hopefully this has helped you. This course is going to feature private label. And the reason for private label is because I believe it has the biggest opportunity. Typically the profit margins are higher. Now, what is private label exactly? Private label is where you either create a product from scratch. It's your own idea in your head. You develop it and you get it out there. And there's a module from Gemba later on that will show you exactly how to do that. These guys will, if you have an idea in your head and you want to develop a brand new product, but you don't know where to start, they'll help you through the whole process, and he's going to teach you how to do that. Or maybe you find something that's already been made out there. You go to China or India or someone that's already got something, and you change it slightly and you put your logo on it, and then you sell it. For instance, when you go to the grocery store and you see ketchup on the shelf in your local grocery store, you may see Heinz ketchup, which is a national brand, and then you see the local grocery store ketchup. Maybe it's a Kroger is your local grocery store. So you'll see the Kroger brand, and it may be called Marketplace, or they may give it some other name. But a lot of times this is coming off the same factory line, the same facilities. It's just marketing is different. The label is simpler. It's a little bit cheaper product usually. They're not running all the big national commercials. They don't have the big infrastructure. That's a private label product. So you can do that too. You can find good opportunities that even the big brands are selling, make it your own by differentiation, and then have your own product. So that's what private label is. And that has the highest profit margins. Typically, you'll be in the 20 to 30% range on a private label product, which is much higher than all the others. And private label products is it's the easiest one to sell. So if you later want to sell it to one of these aggregators, or maybe you want to get acquired by some bigger other strategic brand, you're going to have a much better chance to sell those at a much higher margin. So that's why I believe private label is the best, and that's what we're going to talk about here in the Freedom Ticket. We'll see you in the next module.